Hey guys, Merry Christmas, everybody. Got my awesome Christmas hat on for today's live broadcast. So let's get into it. Um, I say Merry Christmas. I want it to be Merry Christmas for you. That's what it's supposed to be. But Christmas, for some reason, is far from merry for me. I try to get myself in the Christmas spirit, and I don't want. I'm not going to turn this into a full blown depressing thing because at the end of my little spiel, we're going to talk about VA claims and talk about my Combat Craig family, and you guys make me happy, and you make me want to be alive and feel alive. But I went through the whole deal. I went out and got a Christmas tree with lights on it, and threw that thing up, and then put some lights around the house, and maybe something will be different. Maybe this will make me feel happier this holiday season. I mean, I guess the first thing, maybe I should have bought some presents and put it on there. That might have helped. But I mean, I have a Christmas tree raging upstairs with lights on, nobody around it. There's no family around me. There's no smells of kitchen, food cooking in the kitchen. And as much as I totally enjoy being alone, I don't know. It's just getting to me for some reason. This season today. Maybe you could relate to that. Maybe you can't relate to that. Hopefully you're not having a rough one, but it happens. You can't tell. It's weird. For some reason, I'm having not flashbacks, but I'm thinking back to when I was. Oh, also, the onus is on me to call my mom, obviously, right? So I haven't done that yet, and I will. One of my brothers called me, but that's it. So that's a little weird too. I don't know how big of a deal that is. I don't call anybody anyway, so I don't expect them to call me. But that's not really helping it either. But for some reason, I'm having flashbacks to when I was stationed in Turkey, and Christmas was so far away, and my family was so far away. And as depressing and all that kind of stuff was, they cook you some shitty Turkish Christmas dinner. And even when you're in a war zone, they try to do something to make it feel kind of Christmassy. So it's weird. For whatever reason, that seems way more happier to me than this Christmas. So kind of weird. So Xanax helps. I'm prescribed Xanax so I can take it. So it's not like I'm illegally taking it. That kind of makes me not care. And then I specifically told Tom Marine vet that I wasn't going to drink. And he told me if I show up with puffy cheeks, he's going to fly out here and kick my ass. Challenge accepted, Tom. I'm going through a tough time right now, but I'm going to stay away from alcohol, and I haven't drank any for at least a couple days, and I'm not drinking today or tomorrow. I keep my head clear. So I'll take you up on that offer. And I saw it. I was drinking a lot more, and one video I just looked like shit, and my cheeks were puffy. I never even knew that was a thing. Wow, that must have when I was like a teenager. Oh, mom, I haven't been drinking. I don't know if you get puffy cheeks when you're a teenager or whatever. So anyway, enough about my pathetic life. Let's talk about something positive, and I want to go through in positive is talking about VA claims, educating each other, and moving our claims forward. Thanks, claims Jedi Master. Long time no see, man. Merry Christmas. So I wanted to kind of go through. I know that I'm not preaching to the choir here. I know a lot of you guys are going through some version of this, depression and all that kind of stuff sets in. So I want to just kind of screen share through and kind of cover a few things. And I guess my main message here is whatever your stage is at this Christmas and however you're feeling about it or whatever, you're not alone because we're together. And so there's that. And, look for the bright spot. So this was off of the this is off of the VA blog, um, helping veterans cope with PTSD during the holidays.
Thanks
Got
for the super
got your
chat.
message, claims Jedi Master, and I certainly will, and I will do it today. So, coping with PTSD during the holidays, a lot of this is focused around, you know what? I got a heater. Well, you might not be able to hear that heater, but it's irritating me. Hold on just a second. I got to get rid of this heater. Sorry about that. I deal with lots of audio and video issues and stuff like that. And when I hear a noise, I think you guys can hear it, even though I know that my mic's not picking it up. So, anyway, coping with PTSD during the holidays. So, this is a thing the VA does, and a lot of people do, really focusing in on post traumatic stress disorder. I don't know if it's because you don't have to be a combat veteran, obviously, to have PTSD. And then, like a layer or two beneath the actual PTSD, that's an event that has a stressor. But really, the underlying symptoms that really eat you are the major depression and the anxiety and the insomnia. So I don't really know why PTSD is always talked about, probably because it's like the kind of highest of them. But I don't know, kind of doesn't make sense because PTSD has a stressor event, but what just drags your life down is the depression associated with it. Also, yeah, I guess this might be a good time to talk about this. I threw my email address on here at the bottom, combatcraig at Proton Mail. I'm doing that because something might happen to this channel negatively, and I might have to start a new one. So, for all you core guys and gals, please write this down. If I just magically disappear, it wasn't by my choice. But I will start another channel, and we're going to keep this thing going. Just throwing that in there, not a disclaimer. And I don't know how big of a deal it is. I have a credible threat. So anyway, winter holiday season may be regarded as a wonderful time of the year, right? But not so much. Large groups are a problem. Again, that's what I mean. It's weird. It's weird that I don't smell the smells of and the clanking around and the drunk mother-in-law. That she's actually pretty kind of a funny drunk. So like whatever. I go along with her good. My mother-in-law and my wife upstairs and in the other room and that stuff going on. And they were from South Africa, so they always clowned on me for being American, and I always made fun of the way they talked. So just banter would go along, but it was funny when I got 3 or 4 South Africans in my house. I would purposely just stir it up with them because they call like traffic lights robots, and they call the trunk the boot, and they call the front, like the hood, they call it the bonnet. They call the horn the hoota. So there's just all these things, and I was married for a long time. It's like, babe, why are you it's the hood? Why are you still calling it the bonnet? You've lived in America longer than you lived in South Africa. So anyway, I digress. So, groups may tire out a person, make them feel overwhelmed, maybe something that you're going through. I guess maybe that's a good thing for me right now,
Thanks for
not
the
having to
super
deal
chat.
with that part of it, and not having people around. Claims Jedi Masters on a mission today. Awesome. Um, so the groups part is probably helping me. I'm sure. Like I said, I've had different Christmases. I was way more in an isolated area of Montana for the last two Christmases. You know what? No, I went over to my friend's house. So I maybe that was normal last year, but yeah, whatever. So if you and this is more kind of this blog post, and I'm going to quit talking about it because it's kind of bullshit. This is kind of more geared towards people that are like, oh, how do I approach somebody with mental health problems? You all have mental health problems. You all have PTSD and depression. So I don't need to explain this to you guys. You know how this stuff feels. You feel how you feel, and the people around you are trying to figure out how to not make you feel any worse. So I think I'm just gonna keep blowing through some of this parts. Let's see what kind of tips they got. Talk to your family about how you feel. Yeah, a good idea. Easier said than done. It really depends on where you're at. I kind of think that the best therapy or the initial therapy is getting paid for this. Because it's something that eats at you. The filing a combat PTSD claim for me and then actually seeing that shit on paper, like these motherfuckers finally acknowledged it after all this time. That still gets me. So, yeah, just a second. Yeah, it's just getting that part, having the VA or military or whatever realize that you have a problem, and then the compensation that comes that will actually help you get into a better housing situation and have a little money in your pocket and that kind of stuff. So like that's the first part that you should talk so you can go in and nail your C&P exam, and then it's like getting through, whatever therapy you could do. I'm not ready to go through any more therapy. I talked to a shrink. It's a waste of time. I take the meds. They all suck except for Xanax and Trazodone. Works. Alcohol obviously works. That's a problem, obviously. Hard drugs work great. That's got a whole nother bunch of problems, so I stay away from those. So whatever works. If you could talk to your family or you could talk to somebody at any level of honesty, it's just, I would just say, have somebody strong, and you probably do if you have a wife that's gone through this with you for a really long time. She could probably handle it because she sees what you're like and she knows. But just know when you actually open up and dump on them, it's going to cause them PTSD almost. Well, not technically PTSD, because it's not going to be an actual traumatic event with a stressor that's triggering, could trigger them, but it will cause them to be depressed when you dump on them. So, yeah, whatever. Do whatever you're going to do. If you have a strong wife, you're in good shape. You probably already did this. Talk to whoever you can at whatever level you can talk about, I guess, is that one. Set limits. Don't join activities for longer than you can handle. This one is often dictated by, well, I'm a dad and I need to go do this because I have a couple kids and I got to, spend time with this kid at this event and that event. I get that. And I don't know, I don't have a solution for how you would set any kind of limits for that. If you're in a family and you have a wife and 3 kids, I mean, you're busy. I don't know how you set limits, but if you can, that's a good idea. Taking breaks, go for a walk, learning how to breathe. I started using a breathing app called Headspace, and it's just so silly. It's like, oh, you have to learn how to breathe. Like, well, no shit, dumb shit. What do you think? I'm good at it. I'm alive. I'm breathing right now. Like, I'm literally breathing. But once you get past the, like, that's dumb idea, and then you start getting into, like, the taking a deep breath part, I'm not saying it magically makes me better, but for like just a little bit of period of time, I change a little bit. Breathing actually helps. Meditation, stuff like that. Um, Getting plenty of rest. This one's kind of funny. You may already have difficulty sleeping, yes. Do your best to maintain your usual bedtime or wake up. I have none. And that's how I go about it. Naps should be taken sparingly, as they may disrupt your nighttime sleeping patterns. That was so true for me so many years ago because I've always worked on a computer from home. And it's like, oh, yeah, we got a big conference meeting. Like, yeah, I ain't going to make it later. It's like I just shut the phone off from 10 to 1 and that might be my entire night's sleep. So, because I know I have to get my brain some kind of rest. So, yeah, they hate me at the VA. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. It's like, yeah, I can't do any of that stuff. Exercise routines, yoga, jogging, lifting weights. Yeah, that's great. Great stress relief. If you're having problems getting out of bed because you don't know how much pain it's going to cause your neck, your back, and your feet when you go take a piss in the middle of the night, all these kind of activities just kind of go out the window and then you gain 30 pounds like I did. So I'm trying to figure out this whole life after being on Norco 10 325s. Took 6 of them a day from 2013 to early 2020. I'm trying to figure out, like, I could move around before because Norco, it does 2 things. It gets you high and it masks the pain. I don't know which one it does more, but I was able to move, and yeah, I put on a shitload of weight, and yeah, I need to find a different way to deal with the pain. Alcohol, excessive drinking, blah blah blah. I kind of covered that alone, and then the last part is, if you need help, and I know this is kind of a weird one, there is an 800 number. Call the suicide hotline if you're feeling suicidal. Very easy to slide from where I'm currently at now into suicidal thoughts and ideations. And it's like, wow, my life just sucks. Like, I know how shitty my life's going to be tomorrow. And you just slide. It's a slippery slope. And you start mixing in alcohol and drugs and more shit going on with you. And more people applying pressure to you and bullying you and shit like that. You just go into suicide mode real easy. So these are the people to call. Call the suicide hotline. That's a good person to talk to because they're actually qualified to talk you off the bridge or the ledge or whatever. You want to talk to a specialist or a professional or whatever. So anyway, I'm going to take a Clyde cam over. What you doing, Clyde? Let's switch to the Santa hat. So that's the first one. You like that? Got a good nose on there. Got all my hats out. So we'll hop over to the Santa hat today. And let me take a quick Mountain Dew release break just a second. Be right back. All right, let's see what we got going on in the chat world. Hopefully my audio is working out well for you guys. Throw some chats up. I'll go from the bottom up this time. Jameson, 100% P&T. Do I need to do anything else? Yes, and yes, you do. Don't file any more claims. I saw this clarified on the Veterans Claims Assistant group, and I can't find it right now, but the gist of it is like this. 100% P&T is marketed as you're 100% safe, there's no way they can reduce you. The caveat is unless you file another claim. So technically it's not, right? Because if you file another claim, they can open you up. It means you have no future exams. You don't need to do anything else. But do not file any more claims. I mean, if you need to file another claim for special monthly compensation, get the compensation you deserve. I'm not saying don't do that. Just be aware that if you're at the 100% P&T level and you file for an increase or file a new claim or something like that, you're opened up just like everybody else and they can reduce you. But if you stay away from them and don't file claims, they won't. It's kind of a weird thing. I saw this, and the way that I was reading it was like, wow, that's a good way to explain it. Let's see. And yep, I mean, special monthly compensation is something to consider. If you're at 100% P&T and that's not doing it for you, just when you apply for special monthly compensation, it's a claim. It's an increase. See, Tom? Mountain Dew. Okay, let's see. Hey, Craig, having trouble finding a local doctor to write me a Nexus for migraines second to tinnitus. Any advice on finding local doctors without having to make the... So this is just one of those things that's it's a hurdle that's in front of you that you're going to have to figure out how to get over. I don't know how to come to where you are and find the doctor. And the part that I'm keying in here is finding local doctors and having to pay them like their copay to go in and have them tell you, no, we don't do that. I get it that you think that's costly, and it is. But I want you to focus on the compensation that you're not getting and how much money that is costing you. If you have to go pay $200 to doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor, and it costs you $2,000, $2,500, $5,000, whatever it is, I guarantee you, your local doctor is the way to go. Once you find one, and the money is you'll just be so happy. It's an investment in yourself. Local doctors are the best way to do this stuff. How often do you get reevaluated for PTSD? I think it's every 2 or 3 years. It depends if you're permanent and total or not. Obviously, if you're permanent and total, they've considered that your PTSD is static, and don't go file another claim and you're good to go. I don't have that exact answer, just kind of just grabbing info like I do. Every couple of years, or like the first time, also depending on age, might be like 2 or 3 years, might be like the first one, and then after that it might be like 5 years. And then another one that I've kind of heard of when people have had a PTSD rating for a while, I've heard them going after this 10-year one, like on 9 years and 10 months, boom, they do another one there. So you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have the answer. Maybe you could find it. I don't think I can find it because I know it's inconsistent. It's not an exact date and like every 13 months on the money. They're trying to file claims
Thanks for the super
and
chat.
get them done, and they can't even get those done in a timely manner at this point in time. So just always be ready for it. and always have your medical records updated. Keep making complaints. Keep making complaints about your PTSD. You could do it to a private doctor, but make sure you get your private doctor records into the VA. So if they go through and do any kind of medical records exam, they can see that, okay, cool. Damn, now I got another heater turning on. Stand by. Guess it's a good thing that I have heaters that kick on, but yeah, kind of annoying when I'm live. Okay, let's see. And as we talk about this, yes, I totally agree, and that's where I'm at now. But I didn't know shit about 100% P&T. I didn't really know how to get to 100%. I didn't know the combined ratings table. I didn't know anything about VA math. I didn't know anything about medical evidence. So you might, I would say it might be kind of common for somebody to get out of the military and then get 100% permanent and total. Not really, no. Like, I mean, obviously, you know that you're at the 3,100, but let's face it, it's not 10 grand a month. Like, you're not rich at 3,100, right? You're eking by depending on a lot of factors. If you live in a cheap area and you don't have a family, you could survive off of that. I do. That doesn't work for a lot of people. So,
thanks for the super chat.
you could be, have had it for a while, not educated yourself at all, not really knowing what's going on. Maybe you heard about some kind of special monthly compensation. And you're like, well, 3,100 doesn't really, it hasn't been cutting it for a long time. And let's just say you're scheduler, so you have been trying to work, you get fired. So you're like, all right, well, my disabilities are a problem. Luckily I'm not on TDIU and I can't work. But I can't do that because I want to choke every boss that I have. So you start looking and researching special monthly compensations, and it's like, you know what? I qualify for this one, and I think I have a shot at that one. I think that would be the most common reason why somebody would go after it. Just kind of you hear about it. You don't really know the implications of it, but that's why we're talking. So you do know the implications of it. So that's great question. That's my 2 cents on it. Merry Christmas, Sammy. And I see Claims Jedi Master in here. I haven't seen him for a while. Yeah, I'd love to work with you on your new channel, man. You got a new channel in the works, talking about all sorts of special monthly compensation, all sorts of stuff. Right on, man. And I haven't talked to you in a couple weeks. I'll give you a call. And I'm totally down to hop onto anybody's YouTube channel. Always. Like I said, I don't want to go too much into what my personal situation currently is. You guys don't need to read into it too much to know what's going on. We are alive, Kyle. Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas, John. Merry Christmas, ATX Patriot. Kind of late night style with the emails last night, and we'll get it figured out. I think I'm excited about our first live chat. That is coming, and it's probably going to be coming up in the next week. So it'll be interesting having me and ATX Patriot. He's not going to be blurred out; it's just going to be his voice. But it'll be nice for both of us to be able to. I'd love to give him the mic. My email address, Combat Craig at this one. CombatCraig@protonmail.com. It's a good way to talk to me personally. Better to leave a comment in the comments though. I just have my own perspective, and that's one of my issues. Is I'm limited on my ability because I'm not accredited, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a lawyer. So I know what I know. Um, I'm better at, and it's not even really about the details of the law and the medical explanations, although I'm getting better at all that stuff. I'm kind of focusing on how these feelings are and how you might be able to talk about them. But there's a lot of stuff that I don't really know how to talk about. ATX Patriot, get a dip, be back in a while. We'll be here, brother. VA usually tests you for illegal drugs, not legal. Yep. That's why I just don't have illegal drugs. One of the reasons I don't take them, well, I mean, they're bad for you. But it just like, I don't, and weed isn't bad for you. I'm just a really bad stoner. If somehow or another I got some strain that worked for me, I still wouldn't want that in my system. So I know it's not a big deal. But it's just, it's a federal system. I don't trust federal systems. So if they say, hey, weed's illegal, then I'm just going to keep going with that until they federally legalize it. Yeah, and I was on hydrocodone for a long time, so that was another thing. A lot of people get tripped up being on painkillers, and that's one of the easiest way to get kicked off of them if your piss is dirty. So I'm like, I'm not going out like a clown. Like, I don't even smoke weed. Having that in my system would just be stupid. So maybe another reason why I didn't do it. What's up, M Steel? Let's see how we're doing on our Christmas live stream. What do we got? We got 99 people on, 52 thumbs up. More thumbs up, people. Let's kick this thing into the up into the YouTube algorithm and see if we can get lots of veterans on here that are in the same boat as a lot of us are. All right, live demo mode off. Sometimes I leave that on too much. Can I link? I've never heard of Lichen Plano. Yeah, I would Google that. I've never heard of it, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, Jim. Thank you, Comeback Crate, for the support, and man, more power to you. Keep singing the praises. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to keep singing. I'm in my groove. No matter what, I'm not going to. I enjoy this. I don't know. Maybe I don't want to like overplay it or something like that, but I just cannot tell you how therapeutic this is for me since I have no life. It's so important for me to be able to come on and talk to you guys, to motivate you, help you, have a conversation, throw in my 2 cents. It gives me something to look forward to. I look forward to publishing videos, but I started doing this live stuff a lot more. I upped my live stream game, got an internet connection, got my GoPro 8 overhead so I could have my Clyde cam over there. I got to work on the Clyde cam still. Got my studio going, got a bunch of decks on the wall, got my little background stuff and all that. And then I have my kick-ass A6100 Sony with my 16 millimeter f1.4 lens. That has a really shallow depth of field, so it zooms in on me. It has face tracking and eye tracking, and then it blurs out the background. That's called the bokeh effect. So yeah, I am all set up for the live stream. Got my desk 8 feet off the wall. Just took everything out of the basement for studio mode, and I hang stuff all over the walls because I think it's funny because I did that stuff in the 80s. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere there. What are examples of accredited agents? VSOs are accredited. There's accredited claims agents. I'll put a link again. The Veterans Claims Assistant Group is a free Facebook group that I've been a part of for over a year. I love the info in there. There's no selling. There's no... I think there's probably a few lawyers in there, but if they're in there that can work with you or do any kind of work with veterans, they're all accredited. So I'll leave a link in the description, and you know what? Let me just pop that up right here and just throw a link in here. It's just I like the group. You know, you're going to need to get a Facebook account. So if you don't like Facebook, which you shouldn't, sign up with a fake account. Where's my damn groups at? Okay, whoops. Standby. Live streaming first world problems are happening. Okay, cool. Got it. Okay. Here's the link. I don't know if I can pin it or if any of the mods can pin that to the top. I'm unable to do it through Ecamm Live. So that's where I would start looking for accredited agents. There's lists and there's some good guidance and info in there. Yeah, not everybody is at that level, and I get that. So, and I totally get where you're coming from because we've had this conversation on multiple occasions, but I would consider you more of an advanced user and I'm more of an intermediate user. So I fired my VSO because I don't want anybody else having power of attorney over my claim. And I don't want anybody doing anything. If I'm going to sync my claim, I'll do it all on my own. I don't want help doing it. But there's a lot of people that are coming into the process. And as all the VSOs that I've hired sucked, I guess, in all fairness or whatever, lack of education, I just rolled into the local VA regional office and chose any of them. Like, can anybody see me? Well, which organization would you like? Anybody that can see me and help me because I had no clue. So that is the wrong approach. Definitely do not walk in, sign up on the list, and wait for 3 hours for like the first guy to talk to you. That I would not do. And then I wouldn't even walk into your VA regional office and look at the 5 accredited agent offices in there. And like, oh yeah, that guy's like 90 and like everybody's old. Not that old, there's a problem with old people. I wouldn't pick, I just kind of call them the 5 old guys, you know. You can pick anybody in the country. So get into a group, get on Facebook, get into a forum, get on Reddit, get somewhere and find out, you know, pick a VSO if you're a beginner, and talk to somebody and ask him questions that are very specific, you know. What happens when you get overloaded? How bad do you suck? You know, what is your current workload like? How long have you been doing this job? You know, basic questions, and then listen to the way that he answers. And, you know, you're going to have to make up your own decision on, you know, who to hire or whatever. But there's that's where I would start, is in that Facebook group. Thanks, Jameson. Thanks, Ron. Will a VSO offer insight into getting a Nexus letter and recommend any doctors? Most likely not. I think it might even be illegal for them to do that. They might just say, here's a DBQ, go get it filled out by a doctor. Again, I'm not accredited. I don't know what the rules are exactly. But there's a challenge there, and it might even be a legal challenge. So a VSO is not going to, they might give you insight, and the insight might be, yeah, go get one. So that isn't actually actionable help. So that's something that you need to do. You need to go do that yourself. So no matter how big of a beginner you are or whatever, you're going to need to get hands-on with your claim, because the outcome depends on you doing the best you can. You're really going to kick yourself, or worse. When you're watching what you could have done and what you did, and how you rush things up front. And then you started learning how horrible of a job you did by submitting too many things, no nexus statements, no DBQs, limited, or whatever. You filed a migraine claim and you realized the importance of a migraine log, and you didn't take the couple of months to build that log so you have it. Take your time, get your intent to file submitted. That's a good way to do it. And you have a full year. And if that year expires, fine, submit another intent to file. Do it when you're ready. It's just so much better to front load your claim and get all your education and all your ducks in a row before you file it, because that's what you're arguing, that claim. So if you throw together a shitty one and then you try to argue a shitty claim for the next 5 years, waste of time. Better to just put it all up front, and then if you do it right, you'll just win. So you won't even need to worry about appealing it or anything like that. SSRIs, yeah, those are depression type meds, right? Don't work for you, bad side effects. Anybody else on anything from VA that works for anxiety, panic? So my own personal experience there is, like I mentioned, I take Xanax because it works really well for anxiety. Yeah, I guess since anxiety and depression are so overlapping, like the anxiety gets worked up and I get into panicky anxiety mode, and then depression's mixed in. Boom, pop a half, 0.5 of Xanax, 20 minutes later, it drops, and then that doesn't work. You go with another one. I take 1.5 milligrams of Xanax a day. I wouldn't know what I would do without it. The VA doesn't like it. They don't like benzos. So I actually pay cash to a private psychologist. I don't even use insurance or anything like that. Like, hey man, I'm a cash patient. I've been doing it since 2008. So what's that? 10, 11, 12 years. So that's just the way I do it. But yeah, typically these SSRIs and these low-level things that the VA gives you don't work. I hope they do. Keep trying. But at some point, you might want to think about finding an outside doctor, and that's it. So the goal here is to find something that works. The cash part is a secondary thing. I get it. Cash drives the bus. If you don't have cash, you can't do any of this stuff. Get the cash. I don't know how you're going to get it, but you can go to a lot of these psychiatrists because you need a prescriber. A lot of these guys, if you just tell them you're a cash patient, they are not going to charge you the full, insurance plan. And they like cash patients because you pay cash instantly, like they never have to chase your insurance company around. So like I'm sure my shrink, I'm sure he probably charges $250 a visit, but he charged me $75. So I have no idea, but I think $75 for a 15-minute consult because he's a shrink. Doesn't really ask me a whole lot of questions. Meds working? How's the Xanax? Kick ass. And then we joke around a little bit, and he sees that I'm normal and I'm not all whacked out, physically, like strung out on drugs, and perfect, writes my scripts, and off I go. And he does. And just to add on that, I also have ADHD. So he also prescribes me Adderall. So it's even funnier because like under VA shrink law, now you're taking a benzo that they really hate and then an upper. I don't know. I mean, Adderall is basically a extremely it says amphetamine salt. So it's like like controlled speed or something. So prescribing the two together is a super big no-no. In VA, I don't know, maybe let me know if you get prescribed Adderall and Xanax by the same VA shrink. It's rare if it even happens. I think that would probably be against their little VA has lots of little stupid laws. But my shrink doesn't have any problem with it. Again, I go in, I see him, he looks at me, how are your eyes blinking? Are you all strung out or are you zombied out? Nope. How you doing? Good. Okay, so you take the Adderall in the morning to get you going, get you focused. For me, it gets me focused and gets my mind focused on things. And then the Xan, and then after that's done, I take the last one at like 11 o'clock, and then the Xanax is for the night. So he's telling me how to prescribe it, and assuming that I'm an adult and I can handle it. The VA won't do it like that. Oh, we can't prescribe these together because you're not an adult. You're a veteran and you can't control yourself. All right, Ryan, does that mean you're out or are you back? Do the meds give you headaches sometimes? They make you sleepy and weight gain. Yeah, look on the bottle or Google the med that you're on. Side effects. Side effects are secondary service connections that you definitely can file a claim for. Yeah, that's no Xanax is basically it, and then they'll try to wean you off of them, and they're doing that with painkillers as well. I've been seeing that a lot more, lot more, and it happened to me. So I guess I went through it. So I was on Norco for a long time. The opioid crisis became such a big problem that I could go through the VA, but they weaned me off, and it took a year. And that's one of the big reasons why, like, great, cool, great, saved another veteran. You just increased the opioid crisis problem. Although, what happens when people get off their prescribed opioids? Then they go to the street ones. That's where the problem really starts. So I'm not there. That is one drug that I said I would never do, and I knew that when I was. I've done lots of drugs to cope with my problem, but H is not one of them. Never will be. So I don't have a problem there. But they will wean you off stuff, and yeah, just make sure to go talk to a normal psychologist outside of the VA, and all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, you can do this. It's amazing. It's like night and day what a private doctor can do versus VA restrictive doctors. So your psychiatrist has you on Adderall 2 times a day so I can stay awake to function all day. Yeah, stay awake, stay focused, and you get all these things, you're all jacked up, you have all these, this is before you take the Adderall, you're all jacked up, there's just millions of things going through your mind, and then you take an Adderall and it like gets you focused on a couple things, and all of a sudden like the 2,000 things turn into like 2, and then you're able to actually start like, what can I do and what's realistic for me to accomplish? And it's like it's a magic pill. You actually can get shit done on Adderall. It focuses you down. It's crazy. Merry Christmas, staying focused. $25. That can't be right. You cannot be taking 25 2 milligram Xanax a day. They started breaking those up a long time ago. Maybe I'm missing your thing.
Thanks for the
Maybe you're
super
saying you're
chat.
taking 2.5 milligrams a day. 2 milligrams of Xanax. I'm sure they make them. They're white, and we call them footballs. The normal ones are. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. Yeah, my camera probably won't zoom in on them. But the 0.5 milligram ones are, what do they say on them? They say B705. They're orange. So these are what the 0.5 ones look like, and the 2 milligram ones, like I said, they're white. They're 2 milligrams, so they're whatever 4 times stronger. And I'm sure they're trying to get rid of those altogether. Oh shit. Okay, I gotcha. So that was your deal. Yep. Okay, got it. I thought you were prescribing that, and yeah. So and I hear you, and I've talked to you, Ryan, and I understand some of your struggles and stuff like that, and I appreciate you sharing that. You build up a tolerance. You're in a lot of pain. You have no idea to deal with any of it. So you get whatever you can get your hands on, and when you're in pain and you're self-medicating, you get really creative. And then once you get addictive, whew, then you really, really get creative. Oh no, you could tell the VA whatever you want. I would just go do it. You don't need the VA's permission. Go to a outside shrink. They're not going
Thanks
to
for
pay
the
for it.
super
I
chat.
mean, you could try to do the care in the community thing. I would just go see a real shrink, not connected to the VA at all, and tell them what's going on. Like the normal shrinks, and just to kind of explain this, and I'm just talking about psychiatrists here. They have different law. There's federal laws, right? So if they're scheduling like Xanax, Xanax is scheduled. Adderall is scheduled. Norco is obviously scheduled. So if they're prescribing you scheduled drugs, the DEA, I think, is involved, and the FDA or DEA is involved. So there's like federal guidelines, and there's probably some state guidelines too. But they're not going to over question you and say, all right, well, Xanax is going to be a good fit for you. And then they're not going to be like the VA and say, well, VA policy from Secretary Wilkie says no more Xanax. Like that's not they're their own private practice. All they have to answer to is the board of their state. And I don't know if they have like board, it's like the board, like I don't think it's a board meeting, but they have to follow the laws of their state. So I'm sure they probably communicate somehow or another. And it's like, all right, cool. State level, what are we doing with Xanax? Is this stuff a problem? And what's the dose? It's like, yep, totally fine if you prescribe 1.5 milligrams of Xanax a day. That's when I remember when I went from 2 down to 1.5. He said he wanted to wean me down more, but that never happened. So every state's a little different. But like I said, it's amazing once you get to talking to a private psychiatrist. But remember, doctor shopping will happen. If you come off like a drug addict and drug seeking, they'll sniff that out a mile away too. So be careful with how you're doing that. Yeah, he almost died. Yeah, that's a lot of Xanax, dude. 2 milligrams is a bar. Yeah, I'd call them footballs. I'm old school.
Thanks for the super
You should
chat.
proceed with caution with 100% P&T. There's no more claims that you should file other than special monthly compensation. So, you know what? Let me just go through and get all you super chat guys. I know I'm kind of, I see them, they're popping up on the screen, but I'm not addressing them properly. Let me do that right now. Let me pop this screen up. How do I do it? All right, so Jason Favors sent $9.99. Thanks for helping me get the ball rolling on my claim. You're welcome, man. 0352 Double Dog sent a $10 super chat. Thank you. Use the website Wayback Machine to check old websites like Military Disability Made Easy. Yep, you could do that. Claims Jedi Masters probably sent about $50, and he's offering a lot of good. The bottom line is, if you have a diagnosis, search it and look at the VA verbiage. If you don't have a diagnosis yet and you think you know what it is, then get it diagnosed and file. I agree with that. Blue Cord Veteran sent $9.99. Claims Jedi Master sent another 20 bucks. Hey, brother, call me. Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. And Merry Christmas. And thanks for the other 10 bucks. Gotcha. Hear ya loud and clear. Right on. Good to see you, James Claims Jedi Master. Lyle Bardell became a member. Thank you for supporting the channel. And I think that's everybody for today. So I lose my train of thought when I bounce to the super chat thing. So hopefully that works for you guys. I totally appreciate all the support. I like to acknowledge them as they pop up. That's why I put that little animation. So it shows that you gave me a super chat and shows your name and how much. So if I'm rambling on, at least I'm acknowledging you that way, if that makes sense. Okay. Yep, Zoloft, Prozac. There's a lot of them that are like that, right? That, I call them frontal lobotomy drugs. They tried a variety of those things on me as well. And I think my problem, and it's probably part of my legal drug addiction problem as well. So I know that has a degree of a factor in it as well. But I'm used to fast acting stuff. So I take an Adderall, my brain's all scrambled, I'm just bouncing off the walls. I take an Adderall, 20 minutes later, whoof, laser focused. Here's the video I'm going to make. Here's what I'm going to accomplish, and I accomplish it. So it's fast acting. Xanax, the panic, the anxiety, and like I said, the depression. All that stuff comes in 20 minutes later, knock it down a degree. If I don't knock it down enough, boom, hit another one. So a lot of these other drugs are not fast acting like that. They're not scheduled drugs. A lot of them will take 3 weeks to roll on, and for them to like work or whatever. And then the VA will roll you on at such a low dosage, and it's like, hey doc, in case you don't know, like I have an extremely high tolerance for, it's in my records. I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. Like that's in my records. And in addition to that, I take very high doses of Adderall, Xanax, and Norco. Don't give me the 10% baby aspirin. Like, let's go, if the max is 200, let's go up to at least 150 for a starter point. I have a high tolerance for this stuff. I don't want to sit here and have you go from 10 to 50 to 80 and stage me on the way up over the course of 4 months. This shit you're giving me is probably not going to work anyway. So don't worry about putting me into a tailspin. It's probably not even going to work. Clyde's minties won't buy themselves. You want a minty? Laura wants you to have one. Okay, let's do overhead cam and hook old boy up. I guess these are the generic ones. They're called greenies, Laura. You get back in your bed. You get on your bed and eat it. There. Now we got the GoPro. You can be anywhere. Merry Christmas, Clyde. Good boy, buddy. Thanks, Laura. Super chat, staying focused. Thanks for the $4, man. Okay. Merry Christmas. I was outside. Now you're inside. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Time for the third hat. My favorite one. We got to get the zoomed in camera on this. I'll wear the ears a little bit. All right, let's see. Yes, I do. And that's it. Combat Craig at protonmail.com. I love you too, gun guy. You're welcome very much. Okay. You're welcome. We're rocking and rolling here. I'm in no hurry to go anywhere. So if you got to bounce, um, thanks for joining me, and go enjoy your Christmas if that's at all possible for you. Right on, Andrew. You too. Yep. I would as well. Um, I have my own problems with that, but I'm not going to sit here. I'm not some saint, and I'm not some kind of, and I'm not a shrink. I'm just a regular guy. Booze works. I'm an alcoholic, according to the VA. I'm not like a wake up every day and drink alcoholic. I can stop, so I don't really think I'm alcoholic. I don't know. Maybe I am. They say I have episodic alcohol use disorder. So yeah, if a couple drinks works for you, that's cool. Hopefully that doesn't get worse. But hey, I know what that's like. I took every drug in the book and drank quite a bit when I was in my 20s, and I had no clue what mental health was, and that there was actual stuff out there to help, like Xanax and stuff. Okay, let's see. Scrolling back up through some. That's my worry. They'll try to draft it from your. Okay. Um, yeah, and that's and that's it. And that's when you have the right control thing going. Like I take it as prescribed. Like I said, I am prescribed 3.5. So three of those little Xanaxes. So there are times I do not take them while I'm on Adderall. So I follow my doctor's orders, but there are times when just a half won't do it, so I take two of them. But I do not take more than three a day as prescribed. So in the right doses, in the right hands, that stuff works. And I'm thinking longevity. I know how well it works. So why run myself out? Why put myself at risk? You start doing all that kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden you have no more Xanax. Hundo Club, Carlos, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Yeah, that's a good way to go, Peter. Um, and then I'm not sure how you would prove efficacy. Um, you, but maybe you're talking about like research in a study group and it has a 80%, is it efficacy? It means efficient. So if 80% of the people took this particular drug and it helped them feel better or whatever like that, I think that's what you're talking about, but it really comes down to how it works inside of your own body. But I definitely agree with that line of thinking. VA prescribed synthetic drugs do have bad side effects, and most of the time they don't do shit for you. Yep. You could request you can request to see outside doctors. You could request to go to a completely different VA regional office. Obviously, that's going to be a bit of a drive for you, but you can do that. You are not locked into your regional office. Um, like I've kind of mentioned, I'm in southern Idaho, so Boise is not mine. That's like 6 hours away. So I'm actually in Salt Lake City now, which is 3 hours away. But I actually had my best experience in the Montana VA system, and I think that might be 3 hours away to that regional office. So I'm actually kind of considering switching back to Montana. I had an overall experience, and I really think that has a lot to do with the population. Just so few people. I don't know. I don't know what it is about Montana, but I liked it. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm not sure which companies you're talking about. Maybe I'll get to it up here. Oh, you might be talking about getting a hold of a doctor or a private psychologist. Look them up in the phone book or Google them. I'm sorry, I keep missing them. Psychiatrist prescribes meds, psychologist talks. Psychologist should probably talk to me about how bitching my ears are looking right now, my candy canes. Yep, you got everything done by yourself. You're never denied anything because you dug in deep, very deep, and you read every letter of the law of the medical in the medical mumbo jumbo. You read the CFR clearly. You probably also read the M21-1 adjudication manual, which is how the VA rater looks at things. So, and then you probably understand the law. And then even better than all that, you were able to combine all that together into however you combined it. And you were able to understand medical evidence, how the VA looks at things, how the VA rater is going to look at things, what the policies are, and what the laws are. So, yeah, there's people that are not doctors, not lawyers, and it's really not that hard to do all that, but I didn't, and now I'm not doing it anymore. But there's a lot of people that are smart. VA Madness, Eugene. He's a guy that could do it. He knows a lot of stuff. I would definitely check out VA Madness on YouTube. That dude is smart, and he really breaks it down. PowerPoint presentation, and he's been doing this for years. Cymbalta, I don't even know what that is. That makes sense. I'm sure it's probably not even a scheduled drug. Maybe it is. I'm going to say no. They might, but I think migraines are not a mental health. Well, migraines are not a mental health condition. They're a regular body condition. They might be able to give you a diagnosis, but I'm going to say no. But double check. All right, let's see. I'm going to start duplicating my comments. Let me scroll back up here a little bit higher. Just topping right in the middle here. You don't have a disability that's on the list. So, and I don't know if this is what you're asking, but but I can speak on it. So there's a list. I believe it's 833-ish rateable conditions, and you may have a condition that is not on the list of rateable conditions. So if you have something that was caused
super chat.
or aggravated or pre-existing from your active duty service, you can still file a claim, and they will do what's called an analogous rating. They will take your thing. It's a little trickier, and you still have to prove it. Same rules apply, but you can file a claim for something that's not on the list. And if the duty to assist is actually truly working, they will rate you for something that's similar to it. So if you don't see your disability on the list, it definitely doesn't mean that it's not rateable. But there's also things like weight gain. They don't rate that. Personality disorders, like narcissism, and there's a couple of things that it just doesn't work with. I'm sure there's quite a few of them. Check into analogous ratings. You have lumbar spine CNP exam January 11th. Are you familiar with this thing? This thing's called a goniometer. They're going to be testing you for range of motion or movement, and then they're going to be testing you for pain on movement for your lumbar C&P exam. So I don't know how prepared you are, but just know, I don't know which one it is. Extension is like moving forward, inflection is moving back. There's rotation, there's the side to side stuff. So they should be putting this thing up on you and recording these things in degrees of how much you can move around. So $6.95 on Amazon. Get your wife, get a friend. If you have no friends or a wife, go pay a stranger and try to figure out where you are currently and where your rating is currently. So you have some kind of idea of what to expect. And then the most important part is do not let him move you into the pain. If it's causing pain, stop him. Remember, the C&P examiner is an outside contractor. They're all outside contractors. You're most likely only going to ever encounter him once. He's not there to help you. He's there to basically get the VA side of the story, right? Not only is he not there to help you, you're not paying him. The VA is actually paying him to check out your disability. So do not hook him up. Hey, bro, just bend over a little more. That will hurt you. Oh, well, it hurts. Yeah, you could probably do a little more. You're not in the military anymore. You don't need to please this guy. You need to respect him. You need to be respectful. Do not attack him. Do not be combative with him. None of that stuff's going to help. He's in there to evaluate you. You're in there to talk about your lumbar spine. Understand what you're going there to talk about. Understand flexion, extension, rotation, pain on movement, and do not let him move you into the pain. And now it's time for another goofy hat. Actually, let's go hat free. My head's getting a little warm. Hopefully that answered your question. Let's see. What do you know about vocational rehabilitation? Not a whole lot in terms of through the VA. I looked into VR&E. What I do know is they will like put you in front of somebody called a counselor, and they are not a counselor by the traditional sense. Traditional sense to me means like you go to the high school counselor and like, hey, you dumb high school kid, you should probably go to college. What do you like to do? You know, or you're in junior college and hey, dumb college kid, let's get you a bachelor's in something. It's not that kind of counselor. They're not there to actually help you map out something and then help you and hold your hand and get you there. They're there to place you in a job, and education has nothing to do with it. Understand that. Understand what they're there for. They educate people all the time, but you need to be talking about the job that's going to make you happy. And if that job is brain surgeon, then you don't need to talk about the education. Let them figure the education out. This is the job that I'm going to be happy in. I love brain surgery. My dad's a brain surgeon. I love scalpels and brain cutting tools, and I'm fascinated by it. And it's like, well, that's going to require an AA and a BA and a master's and a PhD and a occupancy or whatever all that stuff's called. It's like, okay, great, sign me up. So don't talk about going in and getting educated. Talk about the job. And then I would pick a job that requires education and let them figure out the education piece. Use local doctors. VA won't accept out of state from out of state. Yeah, they're tough on that right now. If you can do a in-state doctor, that is going to be your best bet for sure. I on mine, I used an out-of-state doctor. They've really cracked down a lot on it, and it's just better to have. It's more believable to the rater. Again, ATX Patriot is a rater. He has said it over and over and over again. We see doctors. We see them show up thousands of times, hundreds of times. We know who they are. And when you show up with a DBQ from one of these guys from out of state, it's a DBQ mill. That like these guys are not. This isn't like these guys are not complete idiots. I mean, I may not respect them a whole lot, and I don't believe in a lot of what they do, and I definitely don't believe in, I have zero confidence in their boss, the VA, but they are actually smart people and they see patterns and stuff. So, really trying to go to a local doctor is probably your best bet. Let's see if I could get any more. Looks like I've done quite a bit of the same. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. I think I got most of these comments. Got all the super chats. Let me scroll back down to the bottom. Been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, that's awesome. Appreciate all the love, you guys. Look at where we're at. Got 101 people watching, 108 thumbs up. So I know some people have dropped off. Appreciate all the thumbs up. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, it shoots up into the YouTube algo. And I don't know, there's like 500 million videos uploaded to YouTube, like every minute or something ridiculous. And it's worse now. So all the support, whatever you can do to support helps. You had to drop your daughter off and the turkey in the oven. Don't get those two confused. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you did just fine. Your depression claim DBQ was filled next day. Was decision ruled? I haven't received the packet yet. The psych doctor regarding the DBQ is great, but I'm not sure. Gave you. I don't know what your question is. It looks like it's like a 3 or 4 part question, and if you can break it down into like one part that I can answer, I don't understand what that is. Maybe somebody else can help you. Yep, turkey sounds good. That's what I mean when I was like, I'm feeling worse this Christmas because I don't have any turkey background noise, and I don't have any ex-wife, and I don't know. I haven't been married for 3 years, but for some reason it's just kind of bothering me this year. Carlos. Jameson wants to get somebody that can help him email him, so throw that up on the stream. Devil Dog got it. Because of the sweet and sour sniffles. If you're talking about the thing going on now, I purposely don't talk about that because I don't want that to get flagged. I don't mind a couple cuss words here and there. I just don't know what YouTube's like. I know they're listening for it. So if you're talking about this current thing going on in our country, that's a funny way to put it. If you're talking about something else, still funny. Not sure what it is. But anyway, you were able to get an outside chiropractor. What a difference experience compared to the VA in-house. Like Christopher, it's such a good point, and anybody else that's able to share this kind of experience, it's like literally like if you were to go to Mars, whatever that would be like, right, in the movies, and then coming back to Earth. It's like, wow. So a real chiropractor's like this, and then VA healthcare is like this. Like it is just so night and day. I actually go to an outside chiropractor as well, and I pay cash for that because I just can't deal with it. The VAs I just don't want to fight them on it right now. I need to, but they're like, oh yeah, we're not doing chiropractors. We're doing physical therapists. So again, this is another reason why I'm thinking about switching back to Montana. They were all about chiropractors and acupuncturists and all that kind of stuff. Chiropractors are magical if you can find a good one. Again, excuse me. With chiropractors, you need to find one that not all chiropractors are made the same. I got really lucky in my town. I went to the chiropractor that had the most reviews. Read the reviews. Hopefully, you can figure out how to filter out fake reviews for chiropractors. And and I went through and saw some positive reviews on Yelp and Facebook and on Google. And I went in there and talked to the guy, and I have fusion in my neck. So I've talked to a couple other chiropractors that will not adjust my neck. And I kind of went in there with an agenda saying my neck needs to be adjusted, the lower part. I have fusion at C3-4 and C4-5, but it goes down to 7. So he's actually able to adjust 6 and 7, and then he's able to do the full normal adjustments on my shoulders and my back, and I'm feeling some relief there. So do not underestimate chiropractors. But at the same time, if you've gone to one and it didn't work, he was probably a shitty chiropractor. You're going to need to try a few before you find one that you like. I don't know. Probably if you filed so let's see, let me get the other part. So you're 100% PNT. You filed for special monthly compensation for aid in attendance. So I don't know what they're actually going to physically test on you, but I know they are going to ask you about the questionnaire that you filled out, you know? Okay, so you're unable to prepare foods for yourself and you have somebody else doing it for you. You have to hire somebody to do that, or your caregiver does your food prep for you. How much do they do it? What do they actually do? I would think it's things like that. Probably questions about how you need to have a caregiver and why you're going after this special monthly compensation. Could be wrong on that, but I would have to think to a degree they're going to ask you questions of that nature. Thanks, Carlos. Yeah, I'm excited for ATX too. We are getting it, and yep, I'll promote the shit out of that. That's gonna be a good one. But until then, he's in here and he's answering questions. And as you are never going to get his identity, that's kind of what I'm talking to him about. I don't want him to know who I am and where I sit, and vice versa. He doesn't want to get doxxed. And I like that. And I'm actually talking to him about setting up a VPN so I can't even see what his IP address is. And then I obviously use a VPN too because I don't like people seeing my IP address. So a little bit more technical than he's actually comfortable talking about, but I'm actually kind of good enough at this stuff to, hey, not only do I not want to see your face and I want to, muffle your voice somehow, I don't want to see your IP address either. I got a couple LED strips, that green one back there. I got some globe thing. And then the blue lights at the bottom are, I don't know, just something I got at Walmart. And then I have a 24-inch TV that's flashing all that stuff. But since I have a really good lens, it blurs it all out, so you can't really tell what I have going on back there except for some color. But I don't want to go too far into it. This was hours to research and figure out how to make this effect happen. But I'll be more than happy to talk about it kind of in a different stream. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's the with the finding the chiropractor, it's hard to tell what exactly is going to work, what kind of discipline they have or whatever. I kind of think that part is irrelevant. Like I said, with most of them, they're like, dude, you have neck fusion. We're not doing any adjustment on any area of your cervical spine. And I don't even think so. No, I think they were into the thoracic and they would all do the lumbar, obviously, but none of them wanted to move anything in my cervical spine. And when I found somebody and I'm like, Dude, I've had this stuff is like, you're not going to break anything. It's, you don't even need to take an x-ray. It's fused, it's healed. It's been like that for 7 years. Whatever you can do, I need because when you get fusion on C3-4 and C4-5 and it's fused together, that affects the discs above and below it. It puts different pressure on them and probably starts deteriorating those discs as well. So I'm just trying to get him to move those joints around because I feel it. And yeah, again, keep trying them. Don't underestimate chiropractors. Okay. What's up, Aaron? Merry Christmas. Appreciate all your commenting, especially in my ambiguous comments that I've been laying down lately where I don't answer, and you go in and say, hey, dumb shit. If he's not answering, it's on purpose. I think his lack of answer is enough answer for you. I've seen you kind of do things like that. I appreciate. I'm enjoying your reading between the lines and your support as a whole. You've been supporting me for a long time. Per visit, I think mine's $40. So that's all over the board too. I'm sure, and it just depends on where you live. Again, when you're dealing with chiropractors, even more different than going to a psychiatrist, because you got to remember, when you're dealing with insurance companies, there's a delay. The insurance company will be like, oh, well, you put down these diagnostic codes and we don't pay for these. So there's just a big pain in the ass going on with insurance companies. And a lot of these doctors, yeah, they'd prefer to get paid $200. But I mean, you're walking in with $40 cash, throwing it down for a 10-minute adjustment. A lot of people will take cash payments. I mean, transaction over. They got the cash. There's no waiting. There's no wondering if they're going to collect, how much of it they're going to collect. So just make sure you go in and tell them you're a cash patient. Once you start talking about insurance, that's going to turn them off. And once you start talking to them about, oh, I'm a veteran and I think the VA might pay for it, yeah, they're going to lose interest quickly. The only reason when that would work is if you go through the care in the community system and then they pick out a chiropractor for you. If they do that, at this moment, they won't do it for me because they don't believe in it or whatever. But it's prearranged and prepaid, and I'm sure they still don't like it, but they'll like hearing that a little bit better. But if you're going in chiropractor shopping, telling you're a veteran and you're over 50%, yeah, I would probably leave that out. Cash is king. Yep. Not sure what you guys are talking about, but there's going to be no doxing going on my watch. APRN, is that what is that? A nurse practitioner? I think that might be a nurse practitioner. Yeah, they can. So it's the person that could do a Nexus letter diagnosis and a DBQ. It's a qualified medical professional. So a MD doctor, right, or PhD doctor or whatever, just because he's a doctor, like a general practitioner doctor, he is not qualified to make a mental health diagnosis because he's not a mental health doctor, right? So if that makes sense, I'm trying to like kind of really dumb it down. But if they're a qualified medical professional, and I'm pretty sure nurse practitioners are in that boat, physician's assistants are in that boat, MD, if they're in the right field. And I think going a little farther, a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner, I think they can even do mental health stuff, but they have to have the mental health doctor like right there, or sign off on it, or be involved. So they'll tell you. I mean, this is like legal stuff. If they, hey, can you do a Nexus letter and a DBQ for me, and then they lie to you, I'm sure that's a whole nother can of worms they don't want to open. My lens is a Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4. It's a huge aperture. I could turn these lights off completely that I have lighting my head, and it will adjust, and this thing shoots in low light. Awesome. So shallow depth of field. It's a fixed lens, but it works perfectly for me, and it's an arm length away. That's another cool feature. It'll go in and focus, and then when I move my hand, it has a quick autofocus, and it's looking for my eyes and my face. I can't talk enough about Sony cameras, and it's not the top of the line. It's the A6100. I don't even know what it's up to. I know there's a 6600. There might be something even newer than that. But for me, I don't use it for anything other than live streaming. I have it just kind of bolted onto my desk. I don't move it. I don't take it places. I mean, I probably should turn into a nature photographer. But for right now, I just want it to be there, and I don't want to drop it or dink it or get dog hair in it, drop it in the snow or something. What would be secondary to chronic adjustment disorder? So adjustment disorder is a mental health claim. So I would Google secondary service connection conditions or claims to mental health claims. So like medications that you take for your adjustment disorder, if any. Your head affects a lot of your mental health affects a lot of things. So your mental health might be causing you headaches, which is another condition. It could be causing quite a few things. There's quite a few of them, but it's not really trying to fit yourself into something that works. It's take a body inventory, find out what you have. I get it. You probably haven't been to the doctor a lot. You probably haven't had a colonoscopy. You probably haven't had a lot of these tests because they're expensive. Sleep apnea is another one. But figure out what's wrong in your body and then see if there's a link. You're welcome, Eric. If you want to request your VA records, do you have a My Healthy Vet account? You could just download them through there. I don't know. It's My Healthy Vet. My Health Vet. I don't even know what it's called. I call it My Healthy Vet. I think it might be My Health Vet. So Google My Health Vet. You can also get at it from va.gov. Go in, you need a DS login, an ID.me login, and some other kind of login. So you need to have access to get into these records, but you could just download them. You'll just download a date and what kind of info do you want? Prescription history, the whole enchilada, okay, what months? So it's actually pretty easy to download, but then you end up with 50 pages of medical mumbo jumbo. It's not the most fun read, but you can go. I encourage you to do it. Doesn't matter if it's fun or not. You need to know what they're saying about you. Sounds like a good idea. That's not something I've ever done. I usually just go in, pay them. I'm a risk taker. I totally get it. They could just jack me up for the rest of my life. But I'm a little bit of a risk taker that way. When I find chiropractors, I want to get in. Here's my $40. How's this adjustment going to be? You think this is going to take, a week's work? I listen to what they're saying, and then I listen to more what they're saying than the results, because the results usually are similar. The pain doesn't go away. But I finally found one I like. and he's giving me relief. But chiropractor, don't stop there. Homeopathic stuff. I went to a acupuncturist, and I didn't like the needles, and she just put in the little baby guy needles, which the smaller the needle, the less it digs in to the jammed up muscle or whatever. But what she ended up doing was using this weird massaging machine on me, and it was actually, what was it? It was for like um, getting breast milk out of women, and it just had this weird sucking thing. I don't know how she was able to charge the VA for it. I did that through the VA. But she came up with something that actually worked on my neck, and then she was heavy into cupping too. So cupping might be something to look at too. So don't overlook stuff like acupuncture, cupping, um, obviously, deep tissue massage works as well. Look at it all. You never know what's going to work until you actually start getting relief. And it's not magic. If you got chronic conditions you've been dealing with for 8 years, don't expect a miracle. I'm I'm just saying, after 8 years of dealing, well, whatever. I've been seeing a chiropractor for longer than that. I finally found somebody that I like, and the vibe is a part of it too, because your brain has to get wrapped around the concept of the healing. So the brain is involved in the healing. So I know it probably is like, hey, I walk out of here thinking I'm going to be healed. I feel a little better. I feel like I'm going to get better. That's a play. So feeling like the chiropractor actually did something, that's probably pretty huge. Okay. What can I expect for my upcoming mental health CNP exam with an outside contractor? Service connected for anxiety, 30% with symptoms getting worse. How should I approach? Um, it's just all about your symptoms and how severe they are. So I'm assuming you're going for an increase. So did you get a doctor, a board certified psychologist or psychiatrist to fill out a DBQ and evaluate you and look through your medical records and then actually put down on the DBQ that you do deserve an increase? That's the first approach. It's upcoming, so if it's upcoming and you didn't do that, then that's going to be done. Then you're only going to get one DBQ done at the CNP exam. But I would look at the mental health rating criteria and look at the 30% line and look at the symptoms. And then if your symptoms are actually in 50, 70, or 100, I would know where they are. And, it's not like you're going to be able to steer this guy in one direction, but you want to talk about your symptoms. So if whatever documentation you have and understanding you have is in the 30% category and you're really supposed to be in 70, you should be talking about your 70% symptoms. And then the last part is social and occupational impairment. How do these mental health symptoms affect your work and social life? That's another factor of it. That's funny. Um, there you have it. Whoever that is, and that says it all. You guys saw it. All right, Devil Dog. Merry Christmas, man. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up here too. Merry Christmas. Oh, good point. Chronic adjustment disorder is classified as a short-term disability. That's probably why I got that. Well, that's probably why I was diagnosed with that while I was in. You're right. So that short-term disability, I guess, is kind of an oxymoron to have the word chronic in front of it, right? Seems like acute, right? Isn't that the shorter one? Acute adjustment disorder would be a better description. Either way, yeah, you want to get that. You want to get that into a chronic major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, something like that. Yep, that's it. That's your silver bullet right there. Okay. Um, yep, we got a good mix of everybody. People that think they know what they're doing, like me. People that it's not like I know everything. I think I know what I know, and I talk about it. But we have a wide variety of characters in these live chats, from people way smarter than me, people that do the job, accredited claims agents, raters, and who knows who else is watching. But a lot of good stuff in these live chats for sure. Yeah, they use adjustment disorder to kick me out too. I got a general discharge, so that happened. Okay, you guys, I'm going to roll out here. Hour and 42 minutes. Merry Christmas. Try to stay as positive as possible. I actually feel a lot better than I did because I got to hang out with my Combat Craig family. So I am going to take this good energy and try to have a better day and take Clyde for a walk around the yard or something like that. And you guys have a Merry Christmas. And if you're around families, give them a hug. And I love you all, and I will see you soon. Combat Christmas Craig out.